2.
Hello, my name is NStiger, and today I'm going to be talking about bilingualism. More specifically, the implementation of bilingualism today and how the work and academic environments differ between bilingual and monolingual people. Before starting my presentation, I wanted to show you a quote by Flora Lewis, who is a National Book Award finalist in the section Nonfiction. The quote says, "Learning another language is not only learning different words for the same things, but learning another way to think about things." Seeing this quote early on really prompted my research and how I framed my question. What is bilingualism? According to the Oxford Dictionary, bilingualism first means speaking two languages fluently, second, text written in two languages, and third, country, city, or other community using two languages, especially officially. And monolingualism is described as of a person or society speaking only one language. This idea of bilingualism was prompted by the source in the stimulus packet called Vanishing Voices. Throughout the whole world, around 40% of the human population are monolingual, 43% of the population are bilingual, and 17 are other, which can be anything from trilingual and up. Some questions I had when starting my research were, why do people need to be bilingual, and what are the effects of someone who is bilingual? Bilingualism can play a big role in the work environment. There are 0 to none disadvantages of being bilingual in the workplace. One example of the benefits of bilingualism in the workplace is through a study conducted by Richard Alba, a distinguished American sociologist. The article called "The Economic Value of Bilingualism for Asians and Hispanics" discusses how being bilingual in a controlled area impacts financial security. The study further found that francophones, people who speak French, who live in Canada, and also speak English, had significant wage returns. The study also concluded that individuals who speak English earn more money in Canada than those who do not speak English. People with higher incomes have more avenues for success and happiness in their lifetime. People who earn more money tend not to struggle in life as much as those who are in lower socioeconomic class. Gaining more money gives people more opportunities in life, such as financial stability, which leads to more mentally secure lifestyle. Bilingualism can be useful and well compensated in the fields of management and business, especially with regards to international trade. The popular demand for bilingual workers in economic jobs can be fueled by government inducements and policies in countries where there are more than one official language, like Canada. In countries where there are more than one official language, it is more cost-efficient to hire one person for a job than hiring as many people as there are languages. In the stimulus packet, an article called "Vanishing Voices" talks about languages that are on the edge of extinction. Reimer says that some Native Americans who only communicate in one minuscule language, and the language they're speaking is on the boundary of extinction due to the fact that no one is learning them. The article concluded with Reimer stating the only way someone can be successful is if they learn another language that is more broadly accepted that people know of. This proves that one way a person can be successful in the workplace is if they learn another language, especially when the language is small and unknown. Next, the economic and cognitive benefits associated with bilingualism. Most bilingual people actually learn their second language at a very early age. Education plays a large role in giving children an avenue to become bilingual, and studies have shown being bilingual affects the brain beneficially. An NPR commentary by Gretchen Kuda-Corinne explains that being bilingual is almost like a brain exercise. Kuda-Corinne says, and then this is the quote, I'll give you like 10 seconds to read it. Bilinguals have been shown to perform better on a variety of tests, which corroborates that bilinguals are more intellectual than their monolingual counterparts, and learning a new language can also result in much more than a new language, like being healthier. There are three main educational and cognitive benefits of being bilingual. First is attention. Although this may seem very easy for some people, listening plays a big role in being bilingual. Knowing at every second which language to speak at any given time plays a big part in being bilingual. Second is English/reading. A study done by Gigi Luke at the University of Harvard did a study looking at the group of 100 fourth graders who had similar reading scores on the standard test, but very different language experiences. She found that bilinguals also scored higher on tests of executive functioning and taking into account higher level concepts, such as whether a single sentence makes sense within an overall story. And last is school performance. In a study covering 6 states and 37 districts, they found that compared with students in English-only classrooms or in one-way immersion, dual language students have somewhat higher test scores and also seem to be happier in school. Also, attendance is better, there are fewer behavioral problems, and parents are involved more. Maria Polinsky, who is an American linguist, answers the question of what advantages do bilinguals have over monolinguals. Sorry, the video is not working, but it talks about how throughout the article, Maria concluded that the chance of bilinguals to get Alzheimer's is 5 to 10% slower than people who are monolingual. 5 to 10% slower than people who are monolingual. Can you just click it? Is it not on? Okay. I'll just go on. The disadvantages of bilingualism. There have been one study to show that Latino kids who are bilingual have a better risk of speech disorder or impediment. And then within the last 25 years, there have been propositions set out with bilingual education in California. Proposition 227, which took away bilingual education, and most recent, Proposition 58, which allowed non-English languages in public school. Because of this proposition, there will be a lot of trial and error with the proposition. One of the easiest concepts is accepting that bilingualism is a good concept, and once you reach that bilingualism is a good concept, we can further implement bilingualism into public schools in California. Thank you.
Nigel, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and why did you choose not to use it?
I found a lot of evidence that was really just, I really focused on economic and social and like the workplace, and I found a lot of stuff about bilingual education, but mainly like the history of bilingual education that I couldn't really add in that would kind of fit with the overall picture. So, like what I talked about at the end with like Proposition 227 in California, it was kind of, it wouldn't really fit in with my whole bigger scheme of things because it was more about the history and how the education, or like with California, like the education has changed throughout the time of bilingualism.
And how confident are you with your solution to this?
I'm actually really confident because there has been a proposition to Proposition 58, and they're starting to implement bilingualism in schools today. So I think like for people to be more aware about bilingualism and people to know more about bilingualism, like is a first step of people actually implementing bilingualism more in like schools because it actually shows that they are beneficial.